Right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 11th episode of the Utopia of Hospitality series, brought to you by Boma International Hospitality College, also known as BIHC. Okay, BIHC is a premier Pan-African hospitality college offering Swiss hospitality programs in hotel management and culinary arts. Located in the heart of Nairobi, we offer a vibrant and diverse learning opportunity with over 16 nationalities in our student body. Our programs include refresher courses and a professional development program with industry placements in the region and around the world. Also, a new addition to our programs is the Executive Certificate in Events Management, with intakes currently ongoing to begin in September 2020. The Utopia of Hospitality is a conversation with frontliners in the midst of COVID-19 disruption and an opportunity to get insights of what the future holds. We have the honor of having two distinguished guests with us today. We have Ms. Peggy Ashira, who's currently the General Manager of the Pride in Paradise Beach Resort, Convention Center and Spa in Mombasa with over 10 years experience in the hospitality industry. She previously held positions as GM at Jacaranda Indian Ocean Beach Resort, Operations Manager at Leopard Beach Resort, Food and Beverage Manager at Leisure Lodge, and acting F&B manager and outlet manager at Sarova White Sands Beach Resort. She holds a Master in Business Administration from Mankosa Management College of South Africa and a Master Certificate in Food Service Management from Cornell University. Together with Ms. Anne, we have Mr. Detlef Winter, who is the Managing Director of 360 Degrees Management Limited Liability Company in Moscow, an astute manager with over 35 years of experience, having served in various management positions with expertise in front office, rooms division, operations, and pre-openings in hotels across Europe, UAE, Asia, and Africa. His most notable accomplishment has been as GM of the Nairobi Serena Hotel, the Kempinski Hotel in Yinchuan, China, Athens Ledra Marriott Hotel, and Miraggio Thermal Spa Resort in Greece, the Corinthia Hotel Khartoum, Sudan, and Bustan Rotana Hotel in Dubai. I hope I got your introduction correct. Yeah. Maybe I can start with you, Anne. You can tell us a little bit more about you and maybe tell us where you're calling us from and what you're doing right now, how you've taken the whole pandemic situation so far.
Thank you very much, Alan, and thank you very much, all the ladies and gentlemen viewing this episode. I'm grateful for such a privilege to be a panelist in this very important conversation on hospitality. As you have heard, I've got more than 10 years in the hospitality industry. And my career story is one very interesting piece that probably needs to go to a book later. I started off as a waitress in White Sands in 2004. And I've come up all the way. And when I look back to the journey, it's been exciting, it's been challenging, but it's made me who I am today. Just to say a bit of the current situation, this has been a very unique shock to the industry, particularly. I know how the other sectors of the economy are hit, but then again, the industry, our hospitality industry is hit most because we've had to literally close doors and go home. Because in the absence of people traveling, in the absence of flights and inter-county lockdown, there has been zero activity. So yes, this has been a very tough moment for all of us, but it's come with its own lessons. it said that winners are not people who don't fail, but they are people who never quit. So we've taken advantage of this season to learn a lot. Personally, I've never read so many books in my life like I have done in the last 3 months. I've attended virtual trainings. I've listened to people who speak a lot on wisdom and leadership. And I believe I'm a better person because of this 3 months break. We worked so hard in and out. We didn't want to go into this, but then we have made the best out of it. Particularly if I must speak for myself, it's been one very important moment of back to factory settings and looking in the mirror and seeing many ways we can improve as a business and many ways we can improve as leaders. And yes, the shock has come along with many vital lessons that I personally believe we are not going to the old normal, we are going to a new, better normal. And I'm very optimistic that the future can only be brighter.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. And over to you, Detlef. You're calling us from Germany, and we're about to have lunch on our side here. On your side, it is still morning, so I'll tell you good morning. Yeah, maybe tell us about you and what you've done so far.
Look, yes, I joined the same path, and also I started as a waiter. So we're talking now a little bit earlier, about 40 years ago, and also I did my way up to the ranks of then to the managerial positions and also the general manager position. And as I said, my first general manager position was actually the Nairobi Serena Hotel. So that's where sort of my general manager position started, and then I sort of have taken on various positions throughout the world, I would say. And I think one thing which our industry, or when you start this industry, is you should never forget is where you started on, where your roots were in the hospitality. And this is a credo for myself always when I see people joining the industry, is also you have to start from the base. Not sort of say you start as a manager and then you're already manager. You have to earn your laurels to move on. Certainly the current situation is not helpful for our industry, but normally, as I said, our industry is one of the first who got hit, and most of the time also the first ones who will recover. But again, this scenario, what we have here now, is something nobody has so far experienced, and as Anne said, the change of our industry will have. Will be there. We will have changes and also maybe also for the better. Definitely, it has shown that certain tools are being utilized more than before, and also I think some aspects which were maybe not taken care in the serious matter have been taken now more seriously. For example, I'm talking about the hygiene aspect. So the hygiene is certainly a fundamental part now through this crisis. And this is where also future tourism is also being counted for and also being observed for.
Great, thank you very much. So, and if I start by asking you, what is going on right now? What are you doing as an organization in preparation for the near and the distant future?
Thank you, Alan. Like I said, I'm in the office right now, and I have been in the office for the last 1 month or so. And critical for us as a company is been looking into our systems literally with a toothpick, asking ourselves, this is how we've been doing things, and agreeing that for us to recover and survive in the market, we obviously need to do things in a better way than we have done. So we've been critically looking at our business systems, every department, and rewriting our business model, and looking critically inside each one of us as a leader, and agreeing that we can only get better. So along with making sure we adhere to the national and the county protocols that are going to be used to operate post-COVID, we also looking at business systems post-COVID, and looking, even supporting our staff who are out there without a job. We've had a system where we are reaching each one of them, reaching out to each one of them, checking on how they are, and designing better ways of looking after people, especially during this crisis. And I think it's been a very fulfilling time as a company. We've had so many one-on-one sessions. I've never had so much quality time with my boss like I have done this time. We both talked and looked at business, and during operations, we are all busy running up and down. So we never get to quite communicate and know each other well, but we've done that even with a lot of people, even those at home. We've had moments where we just call each other, talk about business. What do you think things are going to be like? What do you think we can change to become better people? And so, yes, that's what has been happening to us as a company. In the entire group, we've had so many, there are times we log into Zoom and we are there almost 3 hours exchanging ideas and just looking at how we can better the company. And I think for us as a business, this has been a moment where we believe that we're going to make hospitality a delight. And we're looking at a better recovery method because our brains are so clear, and we've mapped out clear ways forward. Even we've rewritten standards that would be very easy for staff to understand. We're going to make training a treasure, because it's not going to be a bookwork thing. It's going to simplify it. And it had to take 3 months for us to resign. So we are excited about what the future is. And we're quite positive and very optimistic that our bounce back strategy is going to see us run a better business than we've ever done before.
Oh, that sounds extremely exciting. Now, if I may ask, would you have examples of some of the procedures that you have tweaked in preparation for a post-pandemic operation?
All right. If I must talk about some of the general procedures we've looked at, and which are, of course, the standard operating procedures that enable you as a business to adhere to what you've set as a brand standard. What I meant is that we've made these very short, practical sentences that are easy for staff to interpret and act and follow. What we've seen in the past is a situation where, SOPs is such a big booklet. And when you organize trainings, staff find it very hard to follow through. And even when you give staff manuals to keep to themselves, it sounds very complicated to follow. So even that, the standard operating procedures for day-to-day operations, and even the protocols, we've simplified them to short sentences that are easy to understand and more practical to execute. So we've looked at each department, and protocols have been made for every department. We've looked at the general protocols that we all have to adhere to as members of staff. And like Detlef has said, you see, we've all along rided on the unique business, the unique selling propositions for each business. But now you realize post-COVID, we will much look at value proposition, because people are now more health sensitive. Health hygiene becomes a selling proposition. So we've taken that into consideration, that the new traveler is more focused on health and is more focused on hygiene. And so we've made such hygiene and health protocols very easy to follow. And one of the things we've done is actually to appoint a health and hygiene manager for each property, someone who is trained and they've gone through the protocols with a toothpick and they understand, and so they are passionate about it. And this is going to be as well passionate for the staff to execute. So we can quickly create confidence in our travelers, and therefore we can have a business model that is not just for survival, but it's sustainable and enjoyable to execute.
Great, great. Thank you very much. Over to you, Detlef. I'd like to gauge from you, since you're not actively in the industry anymore or as much as you were before.
Yeah.
What are some of the information or the insights you're gaining about the future traveler? What will they be looking at?
I think, as Anne said as well, or what I said before as well, the traveler will change in that way that they will look more in a sensitive way, but does not mean that he will say, okay, it has to be a sterile, like a hospital scenario. No, he will look at this time of, okay, that due to the COVID now, that the procedures are in place, but still can enjoy the vacation. Okay, and be like, okay, now Mombasa is more in the terms of tourism resort style, but you have to think also about the traveler, the business traveler, yeah, because also a business traveler is looking for a business traveler, for example, is time is money, and they are quite short on time, so that you have to prepare or make packages in a way that he does not feel inconvenient for his daily procedures. Just give you an example that normally a business traveler comes in the morning for breakfast, and most probably has only maybe 5-10 minutes time to enjoy his so-called breakfast. Yeah, some take more time. But again, with now additional procedures in place, I'm not sure how they work in Kenya. Or I have seen that first of all, temperature checks will be done. You're not, some people are not allowed to go to the buffet. Some people have to order the breakfast and then get the breakfast served. Yeah, so that changes where the people need to look into, and so to make it as amicable as possible. Yeah? So that that you still enjoy our trade hospitality that we serve, and also that serve with a smile. Yes, and keep in mind that we have additional procedures in place, but the guest, the customer should feel comfortable, yeah? And that this is the key for the future traveler, yeah? So that he's not just a number. Okay, I'm guest number 1. Okay, you go to table number 2, to table number 5. You still have to bring that, what also the Kenyan hospitality makes things having the smile and the warmth to bring this also over to the customer. Yeah? And yes, I think this can be all combined, as also Anne said, with trainings. And this is very good what she has also mentioned about changing procedures, yeah, and make it short, yeah, so that, and then people will also remember what to do. And because a lengthy standard operating procedure manual is something which not everyone is going through. Maybe if you put it in short points, it will, the staff member will remember it much easier.
Yes, great, thank you. Now, you mentioned the change of procedures and to simplify procedures a lot to make them, one, easier to understand and also easier to carry out. I'd like to gauge from you, Detlef, did it have to take a pandemic for us to realize, okay, maybe there's something we need to change in our procedures?
No, I think normally procedures are there to change on a basis, on a timely basis. Certainly COVID gave another boost to look also into that one, because you have to add now some areas of the hygiene area, whatever, into the procedure. Yeah, so you actually also you're forced to do something with the procedure, but procedures, standard operating procedures should be always reviewed in a timely manner, and it's important that you have procedures in place, because otherwise then you have if you know standards procedure, you will not have you cannot function properly in an organized and in a structured way, because our industry needs also structures, so as a base to function. That's the principle of standard operating procedures, to be organized and have a structure, and then with training you then bring this into life, and then also see, is it working, do I need to fine tune here and there. Yeah? So standard procedures is always a sort of a base, but should be reviewed and changed in time.
In time. Great, thank you very much. And before the pandemic, there was this huge focus on security. Okay, do we see a shift in focus here, and what are we doing now to make sure that whatever was important before is still being done? Okay, and that we don't forget what it is that we were focusing on before the health and hygiene issue peaked that much.
Thank you, Alan. Do I see a shift? Not really. Security remains a global concern, and before a traveler decides to go to a particular destination, security remains one of the key things that they look at besides COVID. I'll be honest with you that COVID shock has hit the economy more than it has hit the health of the people. It has affected the economy more than it has affected the health element of people. And if I must talk particularly about Kenya, we've seen quite so many recoveries, and everybody you meet is not talking about how sick they are and how worried they are about the pandemic. People are worried about the economy. So the security element remains very critical, and among the things that we've addressed critically is security, all the way from the airport to the hotel entrance, around the compound. That remains very, very critical. And in the review of the business systems, actually for us, we've actually evaluated in these 3 months ways we can enhance security, because the economy, the recovery, or the people's efforts to recover will come along with many security risks. People will want to recover in any way, and so you have to make sure that your guests and your staff and everybody in your facility is very well protected. So that has actually been heightened like never before. We've done quite a number of things as far as security is concerned that we didn't have before. So yeah, there's no shift to health and hygiene at the expense of security. The security remains a very key aspect in our business, because our business is about people, and people have to feel secure. And one of the confidence that you have actually to instill in a traveler, more than hygiene is actually their safety. People worry about their welfare and how safe they are in your environment than anything else.
Great, thank you. Detlef, do you see the same, would you have the same opinion when it comes to the industry outside of Kenya, you being in Europe right now?
I mean, in Europe, okay, certainly security is always an aspect, but not also to safeguard not only the assets for the hotels, also safeguard also the well-being of the guests. I can speak maybe from my experience in my last positions, I would say, like in Sudan, Khartoum, or in my last area in Almaty, Kazakhstan, security is a key concern, and this should be never forgotten. To look after the customer. Security is part now also of the travel industry. So because it's not only just because we have learned our lessons of the 9/11s, etc. Security is also a vital point in our industry. So security is not only looking after the customer and the assets. It's also just that the customer has also a sound and good feel, so that everything is in working condition. So security is not only sort of the safeguarding of something, it's also that other areas of security means electricity or other things are also in place. But however, when we talk about security, it's mainly protection, and this is very important also in our industry that we are looking after that. And yes, with every crisis, when it comes to security, and you beef up security, you look how you become more efficient, effective. Again, there the procedures are coming in place. So it's always an ongoing learning process when it comes also to security.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. And you mentioned the formation of a new position in your organization, the Health and Hygiene Officer.
Yes.
Manager. To what operational department does this position belong to?
Actually, this person reports to the general manager and administration in general.
Okay,
because you realize it's such a critical position that looks at the adherence to the both national and the county protocols, but more than anything, this person is at the forefront of ensuring that we instill the confidence that the travelers are looking when we address the issues of hygiene and safety.
Great. Detlef, do you see more hotels implementing a similar procedure or coming up with a similar position?
I think a lot of the hotels actually have implemented already these the procedures. When talking my times back also in Dubai already, we did have this the procedure, this safe and health inspector in place. Yeah, and maybe to elaborate a little bit on this position, it's not only just cleanliness. Yeah? So we're talking about food, how you store your food, how you work with the food. Are you going back to the suppliers? So this position also looks after the whole chain. Yeah? So when food comes in, temperature control, etc. So there's a lot of procedures what this position holds. It's not an administrative position. It's actually a full operational position who looks after, as that food, cleanliness, whatever F&B comes in, and also waste management. So food and hygiene is also talks about also waste management. What do I separate waste? What I do with leftovers, etc. So there's a big job description in this position, and it should not be underestimated. Yeah? And I think it's a vital role also now in our industry.
Great, thank you very much. And we are an educational institution. Okay,
yes.
we have students who are studying with us right now. We have students who have just completed their studies and also just completed their internships. We have those that are waiting for internships. We also have students who are interested in getting into the industry and joining us. What words of advice would you give them in terms of how the future looks like? Because it's like the industry has come to almost a pause. All right. I don't want to call it a halt. I will call it a pause. So what advice would you have for somebody who is willing to get into the industry going forward? Is there hope?
There is hope, Alan. If you heard me well, the industry is a very resilient industry, and much as we've never been through such a stretch of 3 months of zero operations, and this being a unique challenge, I personally believe this is a new level, and it requires, every new level in your life requires a new you. And I believe there's a lot of hope because we both all have renewed energy, and with the positivity that we have, one of the things that will never die is traveling. People will never stop traveling. There are so many reasons in day-to-day life that give people the reason to travel. If it's domestic, people will travel to unwind. People just want some me time alone. So we believe this is one industry that will never die. Actually, if anything, with all, and I believe every business has looked in the inside, and we are all looking at a better way of adding value to hospitality, adding value to leisure, adding value to meetings, and making it more exciting than never before to do business in a better way. And I believe the way this thing has shocked everybody, I believe in a better way of bouncing back. And if we bounce back with all the lessons we have taken through COVID-19, two things are going to happen. As we become better, people will never take anything for granted. Even the travelers who have wanted a holiday and they had probably money in the house and not able to travel, they'll not take that for granted. And I believe with the seriousness that we are going to take life with, the economy is going to bounce back, and hospitality is going to bounce back, and people are going to travel more than ever before. And we are going to look at ways of going to make holidays more fun than we have ever done before. And I just see a new buzz in the industry. I see a new energy. I see new ways of doing things. And when you talk to clients, we've been calling our clients every month. We've been looking at our calendar and looking at who stayed with us in April last year and who stayed with us in May last year, and calling them and telling them, according to our books, you are our guest last year, same time. We just want to tell you we appreciate you. And people are excited. They can't wait to come back. And they're asking, what have you done? And we are excited to tell them what we've done to upgrade the product. So the excitement to travel is still there. People are willing to travel. And I'm sure once the sensation is lifted, people will travel. And so I must say to the students, to the people who are looking for jobs, looking for internship, if your heart is in the industry, please do not change. This is a very exciting industry. It's a very resilient industry in terms of bouncing back. And yes, the future is bright. And don't give up. We may have had 3 months of total silence, but I will go back to what I said in the beginning. Winners are not people who don't fail. They are people who don't quit. So don't think of changing of your career now. Things are going to bounce back. And I keep telling people that the hospitality industry is for people who are passionate about service. If you're passionate about service and making people happy and interacting, it's a very dynamic industry. It's very exciting. And that dynamism is what gives it the ability to bounce back. So there's a lot of hope. Don't give up.
Great. Thank you very much for those encouraging words. Detlef, over to you. And I'd like to gauge from you and from your experience, what do we do as an educational institution? What should we do in order to help the industry going forward?
I think, like your college, it's actually a good role player who contributes to the industry. Because yes, you have the operation part, which is in in the hotels, but you as the college, you have the role as the educational partner. And this should be sort of like a symbiosis. And I see this trend also very good. I have looked in your portfolio what you have courses, extremely good ones, very good courses which build the foundation for people who wants to join the industry. And I think working also closer together with the hotels, yeah? So as the business partners, that maybe also some impacts can from the college can maybe be transformed into the hotel operation or vice versa. Yeah. So a constant exchange between the key players is vital also for our industry. Yeah. As the college as well also and hotel operation, both are building the foundation of our future hoteliers. Yeah. And then we have to make sure that we build a very good foundation so that, as also Anne said, that you experience the passion of the person who's working in the industry, is in and also does not forget and serve the people and come in with enthusiasm as well. So, and we are the people, especially the ones who are already now over in the industry for a while, that we also bring our experience to the students. Yeah? And also, we are not here just, we have been now 30, 40 years in the industry and then we go out. For myself, I want to give my experience to the future students, to the future hoteliers. Yeah? Might be some views might be old-fashioned, but also I'm still learning too. So meaning through the online courses, etc. But we are here to work together, and only in a combined effort we will bring also our industry forward. Yeah? We have seen changes in our industry. Yeah? So I can say it. Yeah? From an analog system to digital. Yeah? So from when you worked still and without computers or whatever. I have gone through all these transformations. Yeah? And we are all still in a learning process, and with learnings, we will help also our future hoteliers.
Great, thank you very much for that. And the Pride Inn, okay, what is or how does the schedule look like right now? When are you planning to open?
Alan, we are looking at the 15th of July. Of course, for us, it makes much sense to open once the sky is open. So unless we have lights coming into Mombasa, it beats logic to open. So with the assurance that we got from the president, we are planning and we are on gear 5, getting everything set, and we excited and we're looking forward to the 15th of July as the day when we reopen our doors.
When you look at the forecast, you said you're opening 15th of July. So when you look into September and October, and how has the demand or how is the demand right now compared to last year, and what business levels are we looking at?
It's quite unpredictable, to be honest with you, and but again, looking at what the exercise that I've mentioned we've been doing, getting in touch with our repeat clientele, getting in touch with the repeat conference businesses that we had in books. I think what is going to be critical post-COVID and what is going to determine the picker factor in terms of occupancy is the value proposition we are going to offer as a hotel. And I personally believe, as far as Pride in Paradise is concerned, we still have, conference bookings in books for September that has not been cancelled as yet, because of course everybody was very positive that by September things will have turned around for the best. And so with all the effort that we are putting in place to assure our customers that we've taken all the measures into consideration, and the assurance that we are giving them as far as hygiene and safety is concerned, we are quite optimistic that even if we don't, do the same occupancies that we had last year, we will have a good pick-up factor by September. We must be able to be on the right path to sustain the recovery.
Great, thank you very much, Detlef. With the new procedures that have been mentioned and with the whole social distancing aspect, do we see a demand for extra manpower or more workforce to do the same jobs that used to be done before?
I wouldn't say so. I think we all, maybe in certain areas might be an increase, but I think having now also retrained the staff, whatever, I think also this crisis will or has shown that people will come into this position of multitasking. So that's what I said, that there might be not a big increase of staff. So maybe people will be utilized more effectively. And meaning in the certain areas. It does not mean that like the waiter needs to go to the kitchen to do the cooking, but there could be the waiter might do the additional job of cleaning classes or something like that in the stewarding, so sort of a combination. Yeah? It is something which this crisis most probably will also come into effect in terms of in staffing. Unfortunately, we have seen through the crisis a lot of people have been put on furlough, put on unfortunately also on the redundancy. So it's an unfortunate, but again, the positions will come back. Because certainly the staffing is vital for an operation. But again, you have to put also now the head of an owner who has to see the financial aspect. So it does also maybe come back also to the things. Yes, when the skies are open, it does not mean okay tomorrow the flight to Kenya or to somewhere else, the flights will be full. Yeah? So people need to make also decisions. Will I make a vacation? Will I come here? So it's also something which the business factor will also contribute towards to the staffing. Yeah? Because it's you cannot just expect then yes, the flight's open tomorrow. Okay, my hotel is fully booked. I think this decision in maybe for the normal person that's sort of a wishful thinking. It takes some time to recover and also to come to the figures also which the industry will wants to see or want to look at. I think each hotel would look like if he would come into the range of a break even, it's already a success. Yeah. We have to be honest also in this term, and then build on the break even point towards the profitability.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. And when the recruitment starts, are there certain aspects of qualifications that you will be looking in candidates going forward because of the whole pandemic situation?
Well, I think like Detlef has outlined, I think the ability to multitask is going to be very key because we not just looking at the cost of operating is going to be high, and because of all the adherence that we have to do and the capacities that have to be have to adhere to the social distancing aspects. So initially, we may be looking at a break-even position. We will, because of course you don't expect a business to hotels to fill up on the first day of reopening. There is going to be a curve to recovery. So the key consideration in terms of Of course, priority will be given to the existing staff who are, you know, permanently employed. But of course, how we build up, or how people come in, will be determined on one's ability to multitask. Someone, you are going to be better off with staff who can do a couple of things and do them well and do them more effectively, in accordance with what is set, because what that is going to do is going to make your payroll cost more manageable. It's going to be more of quality vis-a-vis quantity. So for me as a manager, I'll be looking at how easily I can achieve efficiency and maximize on profitability. So you know, the build up of a multitasking model is going to help businesses to also make sure that they take care of both aspects of quality without affecting the speed of service, and of course look at the profitability element.
Great, thank you very much. Detlef, any final words of advice you would have for our viewers and for people who are in the industry and cannot wait for the pandemic to come to an end?
Yeah, I think one key word for our industry is also patience. Yeah, because patience shows them that yes, we are willing to serve. We want to give again the services to the customer. Do not expect in the beginning 100% conversion of the procedures, but again, having then been locked down 3 months out, yes, we did do training, but again, it's also get to use systematic.
Yeah.
Our industry will do better with the time on, and also, as I said, we are a service industry. We certainly are here to serve our customers. As also Anne said, quality is also a key aspect for the future travel, not the quantity. And as I said, look after not only after the guests, also look after your staff, because these are the assets of the operation. Do not overburden the staff in the beginning with all that. Yes, you want to be perfect, but also give a little bit of ample space to gain this experience of this new situation. Well, that's why the key is patience, and also with patience and teamwork. Teamwork is because you cannot achieve it as a manager on your own. Yes, you have to be the leader. Yes, you have to be the role model. Yes, you have to be the inspiration for your staff to transform your ideas to them, and also your spirit will then go also over to the customer.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. And your closing remarks or words of advice?
I think my advice to individuals and owners of business and everyone in the hospitality industry is that we all mature with damage. We don't mature with the number of years that we live. We've been so damaged by the pandemic economically. We've been at home. This was so abrupt. But I think post-COVID, we must do things in a different way. It will be criminal, for instance, to start discussing service recovery. We must focus at getting it right for the first time. Anything that we've taken for granted in the past in terms of customer satisfaction, in terms of building repeat business, you will realize that it is going to be very difficult to convince people once they have any gaps in service, because everybody is going to look at their share in the cake. So what is going to help us to have sustained recovery in terms of a build up in numbers is the value proposition that we are going to give to our guests and also our staff equally. one of the discussions with the health and hygiene officer is to make sure that we critically look after our staff, we look after the guests, because the confidence has to be two-way. So we are going to see sustained results that are going to help the recovery process very, very swift and something that will help us recover. We just don't need to, we want to recover and go beyond the recovery curve and build profit. Actually, we can be able to even see better results, even the better, because the damage for 3 months has been so huge to both individuals and businesses. So we must wake up to the reality that it can't be business as usual. It cannot be business as usual. And I don't know another way of re-emphasizing that we must go to a new, better normal. It can't be the old normal. It has to be a better normal that is going to give us better results. We should see a better way of retaining customers, because we are all awake to the fact that, yes, business can come to an end. So with that knowledge, we just have to be passionate about excellency so that we can see a quicker a recovery to what we have lost.
Great, thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we've heard from Ms. Anne Peggy and Mr. Detlef Winter, they're telling us we should not give up, okay? Be patient and be passionate about what it is that you like, because the industry for sure is going to bounce back. We are currently in the process of registering intakes for our September courses. And I would like to invite you to our next session, which is going to be the 12th episode of the Utopia of Hospitality. And I would like to thank you, Anne, and thank you, Detlef, very much for joining us today, and wish you a wonderful afternoon.
Same to you.
Thank you, Alan. Pleasure
Great.
also
Thank you.
mine.